You are listening to Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. I am your host, Shanel Scott. I'm a psychic medium and energy healer who has been supporting those on a spiritual journey for over a decade. I'm your tour guide into the world of the unknown, showing you that the magic of the universe is at your fingertips. I believe spirituality is simple and fun, and this podcast will make it easily accessible, giving you the real talk on all things divine and spiritual, helping you to step into the flow, manifesting your dreams because we all deserve to be living our best life. Are you ready for an adventure? Hello, sunshines, and welcome to a new episode of Directions from a Spiritual Tour Guide podcast. I am your spiritual tour guide. I am here to help you, support you on this journey that is spiritual growth, the spiritual awareness. It is so much fun. I love it. I feel like it is a gift to be here with you and to show you the simplicity that exists within the spiritual world and how easy it is to bring into your everyday life to get more connected and aware. But this is October, and I thought maybe this month for podcasts we could do something fun. Today's podcast, which maybe will help you spiritually grow, is my house haunted? I love this. I love haunted houses. I love all paranormal investigations. I love all that stuff. I am a huge fan of ghost adventures. I love Zach Bagans and Aaron and Billy and Jay, and my husband promises me he'll take me to Zach Bagans' haunted museum in Las Vegas one of these days, which I'm a little scared and so excited to do all at the same time. So if you've been, will you tell me about it? Will you send me a message or comment below and just let me know, have you been to Zach Bagans' haunted museum in Las Vegas? What was your experience? Should I do it? I am totally like, yeah. Okay, so haunted houses. This is a topic that comes up a lot, and it's always one that kind of makes me smile because, to be completely honest, the veil is really thin these days. People don't really get stuck here like they used to. When the veil was much, much thicker, then you would find more of that. But even now, when somebody dies suddenly and doesn't necessarily know what's going on, they don't necessarily get stuck here. They tend to move on, very quickly. So hauntings aren't kind of as much someone getting stuck here as it's probably something to come and visit instead. So I thought let's start with what kind of hauntings there are. And for me, I break it down into two things. One is residual. Now, a residual haunting is typically something that is occurring because there was a blast of emotionally charged energy during an event, whether it's positive or negative, that has held that energy in that space. One of the big ones we see for this is like a battlefield, like Gettysburg. If you've seen some of the paranormal investigations, you'll see shadows moving in the same direction, lights kind of coming and going, and it will repeat. It just is on kind of a loop, and it happens over and over and over again. Lights, sounds, just energies moving through the space. It is a residual energy that exists that isn't interacting in any way, shape, or form with the people around it. It is not intelligent in any way, shape, or form. It is just an energy that exists and continues to loop. Again, a lot of old kind of energies, for example, like I said, Gettysburg, the battles of Gettysburg, those fields will have that residual energy. Although, sorry, gang. Things falling. I did live in a town that used to have a military training center a very, very long ago. They would train guys on motorcycles, guys, girls. Back then, I think it was mostly just guys, but there was a military motorcycle training center that was actually really close to our house. And our house was probably lived in by soldiers, whether that was their families or, an upper ranking people that worked at the base. And we used to see, my kid and I, on an occasion, would see somebody very military looking walking through the house. And again, there was no interaction or anything. It was like they were just moving through whatever kind of energy that they had still attached to that space. So that is possibly them, maybe being in a motorcycle accident or something and just kind of constantly reliving their day. But it wasn't an energy that bothered us in any way, that interacted with us in any way. It just is there and exists. So that's kind of the residual piece of a haunting. The other half of that is more of like an active haunt or an intelligent haunt where there is an energy that is interacting with the people in the space in itself. Now, we can go down the path, which I'm not going to go down, I promise, but we'll bring it up because we need to. This can fall into demonic hauntings and poltergeist hauntings. Not my jam, not things that I typically deal with, although, I'm happy to clear dark spirits away if need be. I would never leave someone stranded and not taking care of things. But those are kind of really uncommon. They're not normally happening, but they do exist. They're out there. We set boundaries around those energies and we don't have problems with them, right? So we're not going to dive into that because I'm not feeding the energy of that. It's just, like I said, it's not my jam. I'm not feeding it. An intelligent haunt. So there's a lot of different reasons why we would end up with an intelligent haunt. One of those could be that the home or building that you are in was one that the person is very attached to. So I worked in a school that was a converted old church, and there was a lovely church lady that was there. It was her church. She was very proud of her church, and she was often annoyed by the children and just was, would remind me that we needed to clean up, and I would clean up energies to make her happy. This could be someone's home. I see this a lot where someone who owned a home is really connected to that home. It's their happy place, and so they constantly come back to visit it. They're not necessarily there to wreak havoc or bother you. They're just there because they really love the space. So they're not they'll leave it, right? It might be where they raised their children. It might just be where they met the love of their life, whatever. But typically they're not there to bother us when it comes to that sort of thing. If someone died tragically in a home or a building, or near one, there could be some energy attached to that and a haunting. Again, I don't want to say that someone is stuck, but they might just constantly loop to that place because of the energy of what happened there. This can be both the victim or the person who did it. That can have their energies kind of stuck there. So this one might feel a little more uncomfortable because it isn't necessarily for a good reason that they are sticking around or coming back, but it is one that will come up. So for example, same place I used to live had a huge mental institution. So people who were institutionalized back in the day because of mental illness or disabilities, The land was eventually, the building was eventually closed a very, very long time ago. And eventually the land was developed. So the buildings were torn down. I believe some of the tunnels were left from my understanding of connecting with the land. But then a subdivision was built on top of the land. The other issue when I connected to this land is that there was other negativities that were existing there. It felt like that there was a battle at some point on the land, probably with natives, not necessarily about natives upon natives. It was more of a clan or band feud, or anyways, there was a battle. There was people that passed away due to that land. So it kind of held double. But once or twice I had contact from people who needed their houses cleared, and they would explain what they were hearing and that sort of thing. And you knew that it was patients, that their energies were still there. So in this case, because of the disabilities or mental state, they may not have realized that they had passed on and continued to stay in this space. And again, it might be because of the way they were treated. It may be because it was their happy place. It could go either way, but there was some residual kind of energies left behind. They were intelligent because they were definitely bothering them. They were less residual. They were more bugging energies, probably just looking for help, looking for someone to spend time with, that sort of thing. Nobody had anything bad happen, but definitely annoying, and we just dealt with it and cleared it out. They could be visiting a loved one. So if your loved ones have passed away, they like to come and visit us. So they will show up and come and visit. If someone has unfinished business is another reason that they'll come back. Again, I don't feel like they are stuck here. They're just coming back because they have unfinished business. That could be with a space, that could be with a person, that could be with a building, that could be with a home. There's lots of different things there. The big thing with an intelligent haunting is that there is interaction, that it is more connected, more intelligent, it's not like this energy that kind of floats through and never acknowledges. It's an energy that will flicker or play with you because you're there. It's not just kind of moving through the space and going away again. So I figured, since we're talking about it, let's talk about some of the things that you might experience if your house is haunted or the building that you work in is haunted. And this will kind of explain more of the intelligent hauntings just a little bit more, although some of it will cross over into these residual hauntings as well. So a really common one is smells that will just come up all of a sudden out of the blue. Sometimes good, like my grandma shows up and she smells like pancakes. I've often smelled someone's perfume come in. The other one that I hate, but it comes in a lot when I do mediumship, is tobacco. Sometimes it's just a gross smell. So smells that are familiar often will come through when it's somebody that you know. But yeah, an abrupt smell that just kind of appears out of nowhere. Big temperature changes. It's typically cold. It's not necessarily hot. Cold spots. So you may move through a space and all of a sudden you'll hit a spot where it's like super cold, like multiple degrees cooler than the rest of the space. Often that could be a spirit in the space. When you feel that cold spot. And it is definitely palpable. Like it is noticeably colder. I sometimes when I'm doing mediumship will notice that my hands all of a sudden get super cold because it's like my hands are in the refrigerator or something. It's just a really cold space that comes in. Noises, I know, the ones we hate, but sometimes noises, this could be just like knocks or steps, feeling something. That's just like a noise, not like a bang, a knock, It could be laughter, crying, whispers, hearing your name and no one's there, voices, those sorts of things will come up. Mysterious noises. The battery in things, your computer, your cell phone, flashlights, electronic devices, the battery will drain really significantly, like super fast. That can be the sign of a haunting. Not being able to hold charge because the spirit is using that energy to connect and to communicate. Electronics flickering or cutting out or changing channels all of a sudden, changing songs all of a sudden, walkie-talkie cutting out, the lights flickering, music suddenly coming on or turning off. Definitely like the batteries, they love to play with electricity. They're taking the energy from that to be able to communicate with you. Whether that's physical, verbal, whatever, they're using that to communicate. Objects being moved. I don't think anybody likes this one either, but objects not where they used to be, things being moved. But let me tell you, loved ones will do this too to get your attention. I have told people many times over, like, have you ever noticed that there's a certain picture that always seems like it's moved? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, well, that's your loved one trying to bring your attention to it. So know that that comes up quite a bit as well. It's not always bad. Seeing things. You may actually see an apparition or shadows from the corner of your eye, that sort of thing, like a movement catches your eye, but you don't really see anything. You turn and look and there's nothing there. Might see things. Sensations. So the feeling of being watched, goosebumps all of a sudden, the hair on the back of your neck kind of stands up, feeling like you're being touched. All of those things can mean that there is spirit nearby. And then lastly, our pets. When our pets are acting kind of funny, it can mean that they are seeing spirit. And know that also our pets are in spirit and they come to visit us too. Not just humans, but we also get our pets that are coming to visit us as well, so that they pop in and say hello. Hopefully, if your house is haunted, after listening to this, it is haunted in a beautiful way by someone that is lovely, and there is no issues. There are lots of ways to do clearings, to move things along, to move people to the other side, to clear them out of your house. Please know that you always can set boundaries with spirit, especially like loved ones and stuff. I always tell the story, all three of my children, I would hear them at night being restless, and not the I'm hungry or I am wet kind of restless, more the somebody's waking me up kind of restless. And I would be like, okay, who's ever here to visit? Now is not the time. You can see them during the daytime when they're awake. And all of a sudden the baby would settle and go back to sleep. We can set those boundaries that these are the times that we are available to connect and to communicate. That might be, I set really firm boundaries as a single mom that when I'm doing mom jobs, that is not a time to bug me unless it's really important. I have spirit come in sometimes when I'm teaching yoga classes, and often I don't share anything because nobody asked for it. On the odd occasion, I'll have a student that knows what I do, and I can give them, ask them permission to share that message with them. But you can set boundaries around spirit. You can tell a spirit that is bugging you in your house that you don't appreciate it and that they are no longer welcome. You can set those boundaries. There is a lot that can be done to clear things out. And again, I just want to emphasize, negative hauntings, there are very few of them. They, even the ones that people are upset and they contact me, oftentimes it's something that isn't negative or bad. It's just something that's there that's upsetting them because they're not used to it, or, it's scary because it's unknown. They often, I've had spirits apologize because they didn't mean to upset the person. And, they will set boundaries and say, like, I won't bug them anymore. I'll watch from a distance. It's just, I love my house. And it's like, okay, great. Well, you can love the house, but please don't bug the new people that are living in it. That sort of thing. So I hope that was fun. I love Halloween, and I love being able to celebrate and all the good stuff that comes along with it. So this month we'll try to do some fun ones in those kind of more ghosty kind of themes. So I hope you enjoyed today. Is your house haunted? Also, remember, if you've gone to Zach Bagans' Haunted Museum, let me know what you thought. I'm dying to know. I just feel like it's so creepy, but I totally want to go. Thanks, everybody, for being here, for being part of my spiritual journey, and for allowing me to be your spiritual tour guide, your mentor and your guide on this journey. Thank you from my heart and soul to yours. Till the next time. Bye.